Would someone come and help me? The door is locked. I need to go home to my grandfather. But no one came. And then Katya heard a voice, Matryoshka, Matryoshka, I'm oh so small. Perhaps I can be helped for someone tall. And Katya took her doll out of her pocket and she said, oh, Matryoshka, what could you possibly do? And Matryoshka said, well, I perhaps could you let me down on the outside of the door and I'll see what I can see. And so Katya tied her scarf around the doll and let her on the outside. And Matryoshka was able to turn the key in the door and open the door. Katya quickly put the doll back in her pocket and started back down the hallway. But then she realized that there were doors and doors and doors, and she didn't know which door to open. Oh, Matryoshka, what am I going to do now? And Matryoshka said, Matryoshka, Matryoshka, I'm oh so small, but I'm not the smallest one of all. And she's twisted herself 3 times, and then she popped open, and out came a smaller doll. And this doll was small enough that she could roll down the hall and underneath each of the doors until she found the door that they were supposed to go through. Quickly, Katya pocketed both dolls and ran out the door, but when she got to the gate around the house, it was locked. Oh no, said Katya, what am I going to do? And Matryoshka said, Matryoshka, Matryoshka, I'm oh so small, but I'm not the smallest one of all. And with that, she turned 3 times. And this time, out came an even smaller doll. And this doll was so small, that's why I like my red one better. I'm sorry.
Stop.
Matryoshka, Matryoshka, I'm oh so small, but I'm not the smallest one of all. And with that, she turned herself 3 times. And then she opened herself up, and out came another doll that was even smaller than the first 2. And this doll was so small that her hand fit right into the lock on the gate. And quickly she unlocked the gate, and they ran towards the forest. They hadn't gone very far, though, when Katya heard the old witch coming through the forest. You evil, wicked child, what are you doing? I'm trying to gather ingredients to turn you into a goose for my Sunday supper. And she threw a spell on Matryoshka, and Matryoshka froze like a statue. And the old witch came up and she said, ha, you rotten child. And she laid a rope all the way around Matryoshka, and she closed the ends of it, and she said, there. Anyone that's standing on the inside of this magic circle can't get out, and only someone on the outside can open the circle. And now I'm going to go finish gathering ingredients to turn you into a goose for my Sunday supper. And with that, the old woman went back to the woods, and Katya looked at her dolls and she said, oh, Matryoshka, now what am I going to do? Matryoshka said, Matryoshka, Matryoshka, I'm oh so small, but I'm not the smallest one of all. And she turned herself 3 times. And this time when she opened, there was an even smaller doll. And this doll was so tiny that she wiggled down into a little mouse hole that was in that circle, crawled under the magic rope, and came up on the other side and opened the rope. And with that, Katya quickly scooped up her dolls and ran towards the forest, but again, she wasn't quick enough. The old witch was coming and saw it, and she threw another binding spell on her, and then she came up and she said, ha, child, I'm not going to wait till Sunday to turn you into a goose. I'm going to turn you into a goose right now. And with that, the old woman started casting spells. Meanwhile, Matryoshka said, Matryoshka, Matryoshka, I'm oh so small, but not the smallest one of all. And with that, she turned herself 3 times. And this time out came the tiniest doll Katya had ever seen. And this tiny little Matryoshka doll crawled down Katya's dress, crawled across the ground, and crawled her way all the way up old wicked Baba Yaga and perched right by Baba Yaga's ear. And then Matryoshka started talking quietly in Baba Yaga's ear, blah, 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 blah. And you know how old people are, even old witches. When a lot of people start talking in their ear, they get confused, and old Baba Yaga got confused. Pennery, Pennery, whirl and twirl, I'll turn Katya into a girl. Well, that didn't work. Katya was already a girl. And meanwhile, Matryoshka's going blah, 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 in Baba Yaga's ear. And Baba Yaga's getting angry, and her face is starting to red, and she goes, Henry, Trinny, whirl and frog, I'll turn Chiquita into a dog. Well, that didn't work either because she had the wrong name. And meanwhile, Baba Yaga was so mad, her face was just glowing and red, and the wart on the end of her nose was throbbing, and Baba Yaga was so angry, and Matryoshka kept going blah, 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 blah in her ear. And finally, Baba Yaga goes, Henry, Pennery, grin and grog, turn Baba Yaga into a frog, and boom, just like that, Baba Yaga turned into a great big frog with a red face and a great big wart on the end of its nose, and hopped angrily off into the woods. Katya quickly gathered her dolls up and put them back in her pocket, and she hurried away through the forest. She now knew where she was, so she could find her way home. When she got home, she told her grandfather about all of the things that had happened to her in the forest. And from that day on, Katya never went to play in the forest again unless she had her doll Matryoshka with her. And that is the story of Matryoshka.